That was a hard watch, really. Man United getting totally outplayed, completely dominated, really, for 80%, if not more, of that game by Spurs. But coming away with a point in a draw because we were clinical. Rasmus Hojlund with the first goal. Marcus Rashford with the second goal. And McTominay could have, and let's be honest, should have won that at the end. A lovely cross from Garnacho. McTominay running into the box, free header. That should have gone on target. And it would have been probably a bit of a snatch and grab. But I don't think we were ever going to... We can't control games of football. We still cannot control games of football. And Spurs, despite the fact that they were missing so many players, the patterns of play were still there. We haven't seen that from United really all season long. I would probably put that down as a lucky draw. And I think that's... I don't normally use that turn of phrase, but I think today is a fair way to describe it. We set up with a game plan, right? We set up to exploit Spurs' high line. In the first 5 minutes of that game, it wasn't the high line that we exploited, but we used Old Trafford like you should use Old Trafford. We used it as a cauldron. We pressed Spurs hard. We won the ball up. And can I just say what an incredible finish that was from Rasmus Hojlund. But not even an early goal within the first 3.5 minutes was enough for Manchester United to really get a foothold in the game. Van de Ven and Romero, the entire match, Spurs played out from their defence through the middle to reach the edge of our box. Like the whole game, they did that with ease. And because, of course, we were playing Bruno being the aggressive, almost like we looked like we were pressing with a front two. It was Hojlund and Bruno. Spurs played through it the entire game. It felt like I was watching Spurs take corners for about 30 minutes of that game. It really did. We conceded a goal from a set piece and a cutback. Yep, could apply that to how many games this season? I don't know. I really don't know anymore. But Marcus Rashford, look, it was a wicked cross from Porro for the equaliser. And sometimes crosses are so good and set pieces are so good, you can't really do much defensively. I probably would put that Porro cross in that category. It was just perfect. They just needed a little glancing header from Richarlison. But Man United went forward-ish. I wouldn't say we went forward to that too often. Too often? Jesus Christ. That's kind of how I feel after. It's a really confusing feeling after that game. I'm glad we didn't lose. And I don't mean this in a defeatist fashion, but I would have taken a draw before that game. This January is just about getting through it. Martinez coming off the bench there. Casemiro's coming back too. There was no discernible difference in the start of play today because neither of them were in it. And, well, on the bench. Shaw wasn't in the squad either. But Marcus Rashford, he was there. Marcus Rashford was Manchester United's probably most threatening player on that pitch today. And he's been slagged and slated so often this season, and I've given my fair share of slating. Porro was the real danger man for Spurs going forward, but he also left some space in behind. Completely different to... Udogie left some space in behind, but he had Garnacho's number today. Real physical strength and battle, and Udogie won it. Whereas Rashford was easily United's most dangerous player. And it was a lovely goal, a 1-2 with Hojlund, a nice touch inside, and a clinical finish into the corner that Vicario got nowhere near. A bit like Hojlund's. And that's the reason Man United got a point today. Nothing else. It was because our attackers were clinical with the chances that they had in front of goal. And I suppose you can take that as a bit of a positive from today, but that's about as far as it goes because Erik ten Hag, look, it's been a crap season so far. No United fan's going to look back at that Spurs game and go, do you remember when we played Spurs at Old Trafford? That was class. Yeah, great. First 40 minutes of Spurs away early this season was probably one of the better halves that we had played, and then we lost the second half. And to concede within 45 seconds of the restart, man, I absolutely detest that. That is nothing but lack of focus. That is nothing but lack of concentration. One ball from Romero split the entire team through the middle. There must have been so much space there. Spurs set up with the game plan there today against Ten Hag and our team. Right, lads. We know why and how we can score against them. Set pieces, cutbacks. They scored a set piece, they scored a cutback. As predictable as you could possibly get. And Man United, we tried to exploit the high line of Spurs. But what else did we have? Honestly, I can't believe we didn't concede more than one goal from a set piece. Those deliveries from Porro were wicked. Johnny Evans probably heading out 3 of them, 4 of them. But we didn't have an alternative approach in that game, did we? McTominay came on for Eriksen. I thought I understood that sub. I think when it comes to Scott McTominay as a squad player at Manchester United, he's a player who should be coming off the bench when you want to change the game and you need somebody to arrive on the edge of the box. He had 2 gilt-edged opportunities today. One from the edge of the box where he could have passed the Garnacho, but he took it on himself, dragged it wide, and that chance right at the end there. He should have got that on target. But aside from that, United were playing there today with Bruno and Eriksen looking up as quickly as possible to play the balls in behind for Rashford, Garnacho and Hojlund as quickly as possible. And when it worked, we created opportunities and we got in behind. But when it didn't, we didn't really have an ability to play through them. We didn't really have an ability to play out from the back. Now, there is absolutely no doubt that this man coming back is going to make us better at that. There is absolutely no... You know what I found really strange today? Somebody... Let me know in the comments below if Ten Hag's been speaking about this. Why was it that Evans and Varane switched positions? So Varane was left centre-back. And why is it that Wan-Bissaka and Dalot switched positions? And Wan-Bissaka was left-back. And then in the second half, I think they switched again. And then Wan-Bissaka went to right-back. It was Varane and Wan-Bissaka down the left-hand side, which I didn't really understand. I was expecting, therefore, Dalot to sort of cut in and be the inverted fullback on the right-hand side. We didn't really use that tactic today. We didn't really use that approach today. As I said... probably the most effective attacker that we've had in these last 2 months has been Garnacho. But Udogie was great today against him. Got really, really physical against Garnacho. I remember that from Garnacho last season. I think it was a Leeds player. Was it Ayling? I think it might have been Ayling. Got really tight to him, really close and physical. And that's kind of... It worked. And it worked there today. I don't think... And he also had the pace to burn to cover the space in behind when we were trying to find him over the top. But... I think the thing that I'm annoyed about, well, to be fair, there's a lot that you can get annoyed about from that game. The thing that I'm annoyed about the most is the fact that we scored a goal after 3 minutes, and it wasn't just any goal. It was an absolute top-class finish. A bolt from Hojlund, roof of the net. It was like an angry finish. Power 100%. We got that in the first 3 minutes. Old Trafford was bouncing. It wasn't the case where we had to like go gun-ho and try and get a second straight away and leave yourself overexposed. But we didn't even build on that. We didn't build on being 1-0 up at Old Trafford within the first 5 minutes. And we really, really should have. And that's frustrating. In my opinion, that's very frustrating. Now, the second half of this season has got to be so much better than the first. And look, the proof in the pudding is going to be when we see Martinez. There's not even any... Spurs were missing Maddison. They were missing Son. They were missing Sarr. They were missing Basuma. So that's 4 out of their starting 11. And still they played with that approach. And I think that's the thing that annoys United fans so much about Ten Hag. This season, he's been really, really flexible with his approach to games. On a game-by-game basis, sometimes inside a game. 45 minutes one way, 45 minutes another way. And it kind of helped United through the games against Burnley and Luton and Fulham. And we kind of just about got the 1-0 wins there. But in games where, look, last season at United at Old Trafford, beating City, beating Arsenal, beating Liverpool. This season, very different. This season, United at Old Trafford certainly have lost that feeling of it being a fortress. And I think it's really fair to say that Manchester United were lucky there today. The approach was what I expected. Man United to be trying to find the balls in behind the Spurs defence. But I didn't expect Manchester United to simply have no alternative. Rashford was the danger man, but it was like a repeated semi-pattern of getting the ball over the top towards Rashford or Hojlund, and that was just about it. Spurs were by far and away the better team, but we were clinical today. And that right there is what you need your strikers to be. Clinical. Rashford was, Hojlund was, and that's why we came away with a point. And I'll be honest, despite all of that, McTominay should have scored at the end there. And we really should be talking about a 3-2 win. Fine margins in football. But still, as a team collective, as a team performance, we're light years off where we want United to be and where United are.